Okay, let's see those of you who are logged online. Carly, you want to tell me what would be the first step here?
I just know the answer. I don't know how to explain the factoring part of it.
Okay, how about you, Sunit? You have a microphone. What do you think would be the first step?
Subtract 36 on both sides.
Subtract 36. You want everything equal to 0 first, so we get x squared minus 36 is equal to 0. So what do we do next?
Factor them since it's in a form of a squared minus b squared. It's going to be a minus b times a plus b. So we get x minus 6 and x plus 6. 6.
Very good. So we factor them because of difference of square. Now, what do we get out of this? So what's your next step?
X minus 6 equals 0, or x minus 6, plus 6 equals 0.
So x is equal to what?
6.
You add
or
6 here, and then you will
or 6 equal to negative 6.
You get two solutions. Again, because it's a second order equation, you expect to get two solutions, and that's how you solve this for x. Very good. That's one way to do this. Another way to do this is actually if you take a square root of both sides, and some of you in the forum suggesting that. To eliminate this 2, if I raise both out of the equation to the power of 1/2, it's like you're taking a square root of both sides. So it would be x is equal to square root of 36. But every time you do this, you have to remember that you put plus and minus here. So that is also would be x equal to plus and minus 6, like we did here. That's another way to handle this. But factoring, solving by factoring would be the method I showed you here earlier. Very good. So what would be your first step? Okay, Sunit, you want to tell me what's the first step here?
I would put z equal 14 or z minus 5 equal 14.
No, that would be true if this were equal to 0. If I had z times z minus 5 equal to 0, then you would be right. Either z is equal to 0 or z minus 5 equal to 0, and then you get the answers. But that doesn't work when it's equal to another number like 14. So if you want to use this method, you have to move everything to one side of the equation and let it be equal to 0 first. Okay, so you want to tell me what do you want to do?
So I would multiply the z with the parentheses, so we get z squared minus 5z
Very good.
equal 14.
Okay, and then?
We subtract 14 on both sides.
Right, now you let it be equal to 0 like we said earlier. And then what do we do next?
Factor them.
You factor them, right? Exactly. Now you open two parentheses here. Now for z squared would be z and z. What are you gonna select for 14?
We have 1 and 14, then 2 and 7.
Which one it would add up to 5, do you think?
2 and 7.
Good, 2 and 7. Now, in order to make minus 5 out of that, what would the sign you're going to use here?
Negative in front of 7. And positive in front of 2.
Right. And as you see here, 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. That works out. Z times is Z squared. And when we multiply the 2 closest term and 2 furthest term, it add up to minus 5Z. So what's the next step?
Put each of them equal 0.
So now you can say Z plus 2 is equal to 0, or Z minus 7 equal to 0, right? So the answer would be Z is equal to what?
Negative 2. Or Z equal to positive 7.
Okay. So here we have the solutions. So take a look at this. Now we have Z is equal to negative 2, Z is equal to 7. If I substitute these numbers here into this original equation or this equation, it should add up to 14. That's another way you can check your answer. Okay, very good. Now once again, this example here I put up here, just was an example. If the whole thing was equal to, so this is a different example, of course, right? Got nothing to do with this problem here. If everything was equal to 0, then we can separate them like that and solve for Z. So in this case, we have to distribute, move everything to one side of the equation, let it equal to 0, and then factor them, and then solve.